Think you can't race? Think again. SimAbility is breaking barriers and making sim racing accessible for drivers with disabilities. We're a welcoming iRacing league open to racers with disabilities, along with their friends and supporters of all abilities. Our members represent a wide range of skill levels and experience, from first-timers to seasoned competitors. This is a place to connect, compete, and most importantly, have fun. Racing isn't just about speed, it's about the freedom to compete. At SimAbility, we believe every driver deserves a spot on the grid. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for exciting battles, competitive racing, and great friendships. Join the SimAbility Racing League today.
Okay, welcome to disabilities, right along with Jason. This week we're at Oxford Plains Speedway in our Legends Cars series, one of the shortest tracks on our schedule, and also one of the most physically demanding as well because you're constantly turning, you don't get a break here, so it's a little difficult on your upper body, so it's not common to come out off here with the neck ache. So coming out forward here, work your way up through the gears. You'll look right here where the brake concrete begins, or rotate, slowly creep up on throttle, in right turn 3, lift, maybe add a little brake, rotate, slowly creep up on throttle, put your full throttle here.
17.70.
PS to stay to the bottom of the track, which I did not do very well there, because the driver will take advantage of that, scoop their nose under. This is also a track where you has some good side-by-side racing as well, but if you're at the bottom, you want to avoid hitting that concrete hump, otherwise you and other drivers will have a bad day. And also, you want to avoid these humps here, otherwise you really have a bad day. So that's a lap around here in the Legends cars at Oxford Plains Speedway. A good time around here is minus 17 seconds in this current weather. So I'm Jason Lance, signing off for SimAbility. Good luck to everybody in the race tonight.
We are back oval racing here with the No Limits Just Legends series presented by SimAbility and Admin Box. We are at Oxford Speedway for a pretty tight field of cars that are lined up to do over 100 laps here on this tight track. Let me show you something. If we were to, say, go up in the air and look at this place, it looks quite a bit like a circle. And that may lead you to assume that you're going to be on the wheel all the way around, but the track's a lot more complicated than it looks, and a lot trickier. Tonight, these drivers are going to have to deal with bumps, with berms, with anthills if they spin out, or with a trip into the dirt if they get too loose in the corner and go off the top of the track. This place is surprisingly technical and very, very throttle controlled. So, strap in, get comfy, grab a drink. We'll be back with the starting lineup for what should be an excellent race. Alrighty, the point standings, which we're going to look at very briefly here, are pretty close. Only 69 points separating the top 7. And those are the drivers who have competed in every race this season. Bar one, Jason Lance did miss one race, but we do have a drop week, and that currently puts him in second. Only 19 points behind Dalton Williamson, with Stephen Kiefer on the outside looking in, Andrew Smith breathing down his neck, Tom Johnson, Billy Wise, all right there in the mix, and Johnny Berardi just outside of that, waiting to see what will happen next. Now we're going to take a look at the lineup. We're going to go from the back to the front, as usual. Starting is shotgun on the field. This is the number 1 of Dalton Williamson. And let's see here, just a moment. Next up is going to be the 87, Andrew Smith. This is his home track, and he is definitely wanting a strong run here tonight. Don Koneman makes his return in the number 97. Good to see him back out on track. And next up is going to be the number 23 of TJ, Tom Johnson. Got another car hiding back there. There he is. That's Johnny Berardi in the 99X. The 22 of Stephen Kiefer. Another hidden car here. That is the 21 tonight, which is driven by Don Fish Fisher. Nice to have Fish back with us. Up from there is the number 8 of Nate Anderson, the 32 of Billy Wise, and the 76, the Icy Man. It's Jason Lance, currently sitting second in points. And there's the pace car. Speaking of which, that pace car is going to be out of here pretty soon. So we'll rejoin our coverage once we're about to go green.
Hey Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing SimAbility.
One lap to green here. Anderson sitting on the pole on the inside of the 76 of Lance. Then you've got the 22 Kiefer, 32 Wise, 23 TJ, and the 21 of Fish. And then hanging much further back there's a couple cars lurking behind Johnny Berardi, the 97 and the 87, hanging way back as we watch the start here from our drone camera.
Green, green, green.
That is green flag out. And Lance is going to get an excellent start. He's going to hole shot Nate Anderson? No, not quite. Anderson coming back on the inside with the momentum. And unfortunately for him, that was a little too much momentum. He misses the anthills, but he is going to go from first to last. Just heartbreaking to go from 0 to 0 that quickly. Hopefully he's able to get it gathered back up. Meanwhile, back here for second, we are side by side. The 22 of Kiefer looking underneath the 32 of Wise, bringing the 21 Fisher with him. And they're both going to get by. Further back, the 97 is up beside the 23. That is Don Koneman. And TJ is holding that inside. He's right down there on that little berm, and we mentioned that berm earlier. That berm, if we can go in-car here, is on the left of the screen. And trust me, when you hit that, you feel it. These cars can get up on two wheels, they can get all kinds of catawampus. You really, really want to avoid that if you can, but you don't want to get too far from it either. It's a bit of a conundrum. As we look back further in the field here, you see TJ is battling with the 87 of Andrew Smith, who's going to complete the pass. Meanwhile, we've been riding with Don Koneman, by the way. Meanwhile, up ahead of him, we can see Stephen Kiefer is kind of stuck up on the outside at the moment, as Fish swings wide for a nice entry into turn number 3. Listen to Don work the throttle here. Exactly where he picks it up, exactly where he backs off, and he is getting in there quite deep, using the rev limiter to kind of slow him down there at the end of the straightaway, as he is looking inside. Kiefer gets a little out of shape there. Kiefer still holding strong. Koneman is going to make the pass, and this race for third going on up ahead between Fish and Dalton Williamson is really starting to heat up here on lap number 9. So spring cameras, we'll check in on those later. Right now, let's go back up topside, and you can see the top 5 here all together. I'm sorry, the top 6 all together, except for your leader, Jason Lance, who is making it look easy out front right now. And a lot of these drivers have hit the setup books hard this week. There's been a lot of different guys trying out a lot of different tuning, a lot of extra practice. Everybody has been asking the question, can anyone beat Dalton Williamson, And right now, Jason Lance is giving it his best shot as Williamson comes up into the second spot. Then it is Fisher, Wise, and Koneman, followed by Stephen Kiefer. They're lapping around the 99X of Johnny Berardi. Johnny's going to stay on the inside, it looks like. And here comes the 32 of Wise by. Johnny gets a little wide. That is great news for Don Koneman, who almost gets a look at him here, but looks like he is also going to have to get around Johnny before he can really capitalize on that momentum he made up there. Johnny rocking some new numbers this week, and they look nice. As Koneman gets by, and now Kiefer trying to do the same. And it's not like Johnny's slow. The field was very tight in qualifying. And, you know, it may have been he got out of shape. He may have spun while I was messing with the cameras. But he's, you know, able to hold his own out here. We'll see if he ends up getting back on the lead lap later in the race. Meanwhile, while we were talking about that, Dalton Williamson made quick work of the 76, Jason Lance, and is going to lead lap number 16 and 17 here. Lance is not letting him get away, and neither is Fisher. Now, we're used to seeing Stephen Kiefer up there playing third fiddle to these two, but this week, with Fisher's return, he looks to have come back to play for keeps, and he is keeping up with those two right now. Everybody else is a little bit more spread out. Koneman's definitely knocking the rust off. He's been away for a few weeks. Those lap times are coming down. He's getting a little bit quicker, and that car looks pretty stable out there. I noticed a lot of sliding in practice. I actually went out and practiced with these guys, and early on, before we really started laying rubber down, the corner exits were the grease spot, as usual. But, as much as I saw people like Don spinning, or I spun, by the end of practice, once the track gripped up, it felt pretty stable. And just watching Don out there, he's not putting too much wheel input in. Just kind of cruising around here, trying to find a way around Billy Wise. So, up front, that 76 car has closed the gap back up to Dalton Williamson. About a car length between them right now. Lance was faster last time by, or was not faster last time by. That was Williamson. Williamson was faster last time by. Lance did manage to make some time up on him, but as you can see, that gap is widening once again. So as that battle ebbs and flows, we go back to the 32 and the 97. You can just see it in the corner of the screen. The 97 Koneman gets underneath the 32 going into 3, and he has the spot all the way down the back chute, and by the time they're into 3 again, he is starting to drive away just a little bit. Not much. Wise gets a great run into the corner. They're holding steady for now. Meanwhile, up front, that gap is getting larger. Uh-oh, Williamson almost sees both sides of that car. He's able to catch it. He's going to lose a lot of momentum, and momentum is big at this place. It's a very throttle-driven track. You really kind of just want to hit your groove and stick to it. It is really hard to pass here unless you get a nose under somebody before they're in the corner. So there are 100 laps to go for these drivers, and tire wear this week has not actually been too bad. As for fuel numbers, I would surmise that some of these guys will not be able to make it. Some are running 4th gear, some are running 3rd, different RPMs, different fuel usage. So that'll be one to keep an eye on if this thing goes green. Back at Koneman, just ahead of Wise. Back up to the lead battle. Meanwhile, up here, TJ, who's been having a rough couple weeks, is in a battle with Nate Anderson, the pole sitter. And Anderson had a long way to go to get back up to him after that spin. But once he got by him, it looks like TJ has been already reeling him back in as these two yellow and red machines head off into one. Looks like there's a lot of body roll with TJ's car. I don't know if he has some damage or if that's just the setup he's running. Let's take a look here. You can see the right rear tire kind of clipping through the fender. In real life, that would be a rub. Here, fortunately, it's not. So up ahead, there is Berardi. There is Andrew Smith running laps at his home track. And we return to Billy Wise and Don Koneman. Looked like Wise was starting to size him up again, but Koneman got a pretty good run through 3 and 4 and is able to maintain that gap. Lead pack now coming up on those two aforementioned yellow and red cars as Berardi goes for a spin in 2. He's off the racing surface and toes, so no yellow. And Berardi is racing with an injury today, so that might end up being it for him. Definitely several very, very rough weeks for Johnny Berardi. Williamson is sizing up the number 23. He's going to go by on the inside. And he sets sail after the number 8 of Nate Anderson. Anderson nice and wide there, I think. Might have been trying to give him room, but it looks like the car came out from under him and he almost slid down in front of Williamson there. As now Lance goes to make the same move. He's going to get by TJ in 3 and 4, and he is underneath Anderson in 1 and 2. Here comes Fish along for the ride. And Fish is going to get under him into 3. This is going to allow Tom Johnson to get another shot at that number 8. And he does. He's right down there against that berm. And he's going to take the spot away going into turn number 1. Let's see. So next up to be lapping those two is going to be Koneman, followed by Wise, who has fallen off a bit, and Kiefer, who's fallen off by quite a bit. And then it's a little further back to Andrew Smith, the hometown hero. There's Williamson, Lance, Fisher, and then the 2 lap cars. TJ is starting to open up an advantage over the number 8 of Nate Anderson. We're watching the 97 and the 32 here. And once again, the gap has shrunk a little bit. It seems to kind of go back and forth. Another gap that has shrunk is up here. That would be between the 76 and the 21. These two getting mighty close. Although Fisher seemed to have some difficulty there in turn 1. Looked like he ended up diamonding the corner, which is not necessarily the fast way around this place. TJ opening up a huge advantage on Nate Anderson, as that's going to make things easier for Koneman, Wise, and Kiefer, who is slowly starting to reel those two in once again. The 76, the 21, the top 3. And it looks like Fish is having a little bit more trouble in turn 1 than he is in 3 and 4. As he hits that berm there, you saw the car pop up into the air a little bit. That can definitely upset the handling on one of these things. So it was an excellent job by him getting it back down onto all 4 wheels and sticking with it. But he has lost more time on Lance. So we are on lap number 43. We're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Oxford Speedway, here with the No Limits Just Legends Simability Racing Series. And the number 1 of Dalton Williamson, you see him right there on your screen, continues to lead. There's the 76 and the 21, second and third. That is Lance and Fisher. Then a long way back to Don Koneman in the 97, the 32 of Wise, and the 22 of Kiefer, and the 87 back there of Andrew Smith. who is at risk of going a lap down. So we are looking around here, seeing what's happening. Billy Wise is still keeping that number 97 well in view. Current gap looks like it's shrinking a bit down the backstretch. Wise is getting into the corner very deep. Through the center, he makes up a lot of advantage. A little bit high this time through 1 and 2. And there they go by the speed shot. So, there's that berm again down on the bottom. You can see, one thing I noticed before we went to brake, the left front tire is in the air for some of these cars without even hitting the berm. You see this a lot in sprint car and midget car racing, where they'll carry the left front. Now, I had assumed this was an iRacing glitch, but the other 3 tires are all touching the ground, so chances are Billy Wise actually carrying that left front. And perhaps so too is the 97. So, we'll see. I'll have to talk to some of these guys about their tire wear on the left front after the race. Very curious if it is wearing, if it's actually touching, or what, because that may definitely be affecting the handling for these drivers. Here's Williamson coming by, and then the Icy Man in the 76, and Fisher, who almost got the berm there. If we zoom out a bit, you can really start to get an idea of not only the interval between the two of them, but just kind of how this track is. Like I said, it may seem like a continuous curve, but really it goes through a bunch of different phases. The corners are not identical radius, and they are very, very long. They're not the whole track, but they're a lot of it. As we got Williamson lapping through several cars here. It's coming up on the 8 of Nate Anderson, who's having some connectivity issues. He gets by and brings the 87 with him. The 87 of Smith is currently 1 lap down. These other drivers are 2 laps down. Next up, he's actually going to be putting a lap on Stephen Kiefer. Kiefer has been running pretty well all season. He started to struggle just a little bit here in these last couple weeks as the one car kicks the tail end out just a little bit, coming out of 2. We are coming up on halfway here. Riding along with Williamson here. That berm sure does look big from the bumper, doesn't it? I've noticed as this race has gone on, the drivers have moved just a little bit up from the berm and have not been playing with it as much, other than Don Fisher, who has caught it a couple times. You can see Williamson still running lower than Kiefer. Kiefer's swinging out a little bit to kind of arc the car in, and it looks like he might be swinging out a little further than he needs to, as Williamson's got it kind of pinned down there on the bottom and still gets a pretty good entry. Running right around, there's a little seam not too far up from the berm in 1 and 2, and it looks like he's kind of placing the car on that. You can see it here in 3 and 4 very clearly. That is kind of where you want to put the car here, at least as far as these legend cars at Oxford. There's a view back to Kiefer behind him, and the 87 of Smith as well. These cameras will probably make you dizzy, so we're going to go back outside the car again here. And there's the rear end working. Very bumpy track here, surprisingly so. These cars handle it quite well. It is why sometimes they'll just kind of up and try to spin out on you. The most action I've noticed with suspension, is the right front. It's really bearing the brunt of everything you do on an oval track. especially at a place like this. You can see a lot of motion there with the control arms and the spring. Alright, let's go back
The yellow flag
outside
is
as
out.
the yellow comes out for Don Koneman going for a spin. Car number 97 gets it going again. We are going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, and Don Koneman spins coming out of the pits. He was trying to beat the pace car, and unfortunately was not able to do so. There are a lot of things going on right now as we're preparing to go green. So strap in, here we go again.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out. Billy Wise gets a great jump on Dalton Williamson, who went in the pits, and we've got contact up front. The Icy Man tried to get under Williamson. Williamson tried to get to the bottom. Two cars fighting for one piece of real estate. It is a miracle they didn't pile up the whole field there, but that shows how good these guys are. So everybody trying to sort out where they go and how they go. Fisher currently starting to work on that number 76 of Lance, who might have gotten a little bit of damage when he got into the back of the one car. Number 1 of Williamson working down to the inside as Fisher goes pit side. Looks like he may have gotten a penalty for an unsafe pit exit. And that is a tough break for the 97, who's been running up front all day. Lance now working Billy Wise as Williamson has taken back the lead while I was watching that. And Lance gets that spot, so he now sits second. The 32 in third is under attack from Fisher. And Fish is going to take that spot. So that's your top three, once again as they were before the yellow. Williamson, Lance, and Fisher. Followed by Wise, and then the number 22 of Kiefer. And getting back involved in the action is the number 87 of Andrew Smith, who's been kind of having a rough go of it so far, but he looks really invigorated after that caution. He's got his mojo back, and he is trying to find a way around both those cars ahead of him. Looks like Koneman has pulled it behind the wall for the night, so that is going to leave us with 9 cars still on the track. Lap 81 goes away. Closest battle right now is between the 87 and the 22, although Fish is getting pretty close to that 76. So we're going to stay a little bit zoomed out here and see if we can't watch both battles at once. Smith looking to the high side, and we haven't seen a lot of that tonight. It's not impossible to do here, but it is tough. Nothing doing up there for Smith. He's going to fall back a little ways. Further up ahead here, Fish did look like he had quite the shot at Lance earlier, but it did not work out for him. He has fallen back into line as well. And there is your leader, Williamson, who once again is making it look easy. Let's go for a ride again, shall we? This is out the back of the number 76. And you've got a face full of fish here. That is Don Fisher. He's tried the inside. He's trying the outside. Matter of fact, we can see those same control arms and springs from the front this time. You can see that right front one getting a lot more of a workout than the left front. That left front still does look like it's in the air to me. It does dip down when they hit the brakes, so my guess is that's about the only time it's touching. And we got so much of a face full of bumper, I don't know how much we can see from this camera, so we are going to try something new I cooked up this week. The old school arcade cam. And right now, you can really see the difference in lines, the difference in throttle input. If you watch the 21, Fish is getting off the throttle a lot earlier than Lance. He's also running a bit of a different line. So they both kind of pinch down there and end up diamonding. This time he's going to have a pretty consistent line with the 76, but the 76 stays much lower on the back straightaway. And Fish ends up running about half a group up. He actually falls out of the screen. You can just see his nose back there as he mounts a charge again, and the car goes a little bit wide. Definitely getting in there pretty deep as we ride along with Fisher. Wide once again, and he really gets a run down into 3 that time. He has to work the throttle a bit, gets a great exit. He's getting close to the point where he might be able to do something with the Icy Man. But he's one tough customer, that Jason Lance. He is not going to make it easy. You can see Fish's hands on the wheel here. Watch his inputs, as well as listen to the throttle, listen to where he lives, where he picks up, and listen to that relative to the 76. He's really having to feather it on exit, which tells me the car is pretty loose. He's letting it out quite a bit down the back, so you can really try and arc it in there, and hopefully get up underneath the 76, although so far nothing doing there. He pinches it way down into 1, and you see how much more wheel he has to put in, entering from the bottom of the track. The further your wheel is turned, the more speed you're scrubbing, so that is going to hurt his momentum, but he is definitely mounting a charge here late in the going, as we are on lap number 95. Back to the exterior cams we go. Are Lance and Fisher. And Billy Wise back there behind them. Followed by Smith and Kiefer. As they have put a lap on Tom Johnson once again. Fish thinking about that high side. He keeps getting close to trying it out, but doesn't end up quite taking the plunge. And it is definitely a plunge. There's not a lot of grip up there. You can see the dark gray strip where the cars have been running, and that's about 1.5 cars wide. Now in the stock cars, you'll see a little bit more action up there on the high side, but in these things, not a chance. So if you go up there, you're working with very little grip. And I've noticed as this race has gone on, some drivers are progressively running higher and higher. Especially drivers getting lapped. You saw TJ all the way up there at the top. And sorry about that. There was a bit of a sound like a car hitting the fence, but that does not seem to be the case of what happened, thank goodness, as we only have 25 laps to go here. Fisher still trying to do anything he can with that 76 car. And this time it's Lance who pinches it down on entry a little bit more. I tell you, Dalton Williamson is loving seeing those two battle in his mirror. He is just out there kind of just setting qualifying laps, making it look easy. He has kicked the back end out a couple times, but that's kind of just how you drive the car here. It seems to really appreciate being abused just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. As we come up on 20 laps to go, this interval is now growing between the 76 and the 21. There's TJ. Next lead lap car back there is Billy Wise in the 32. And behind Wise is the 87 of Smith and the 22 of Kiefer. Back from there, there's Nate Anderson, our pole sitter, still hanging in there. Boy, Williamson has one heck of a lead. He has checked out, he's got his bags in the trunk, and he's in the parking lot. Meanwhile, these two still kind of going at it, but Lance is really starting to get away from him here. And I've noticed Lance getting a little bit quicker. That yellow highlight on his lap time meant that that was his fastest lap of the race here on lap 107. So he has definitely not lost his focus. Some of these other guys might have been getting fatigued, but Jason Lance really starting to come alive here in these final 20 laps. As around goes Nate Anderson, he's going to miss the anthills somehow and gets the car going once again. So he rejoins the field, and he is going to lose a lot of time. Real tough luck for our pole sitter tonight. He was looking pretty strong for about half a lap until that thing came around on him, and it just does not seem like the car has been right since. As Billy Wise is going to put a lap on TJ. Smith will be the next one by him. And Kiefer's having to work the outside to try and get around Anderson and put him a lap down. Anderson yields and lets him go. And there's your leader, Dalton Williamson, in the number 1 car. Lance and Fisher, and there's Billy Wise back there. So pretty large intervals between a lot of these drivers. I noticed our ticker at the top of the screen is a little inconsistent, for which I apologize. It works every third lap, it looks like, but I will definitely keep you abreast of the situation as things go.
Caution, yellow flag.
And we're yellow. Well, that'll give me time to see if I can't fix that ticker. We're going to take a break as Andrew Smith goes for a spin and step away for a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So, big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing SimAbility.
Welcome back. We're getting ready to go green here on lap 118. Dalton Williamson, your leader. Billy Wise is second. Then it's Stephen Kiefer, Andrew Smith.
Green flag.
Then the Icy Man and Don Fisher at the back after some pit action. So you can see they went 3 wide in turn 1 to try and get around TJ. Number 1 continuing to show the way. Billy Wise right now and Stephen Kiefer second and third having great runs, but they've got 2 very hungry cars coming up behind them, as well as Andrew Smith, who is the first one who's going to have to try and hold off that charge. And looks like Smith being a lap down does give way to both of them. Well, to one of them anyway. That is Lance making his way by. Fisher slowly trying to do the same thing. Smith leaves the door open for him. And Fish heads on through it. Almost. Now he has. There are 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go. Or 2, depending on how iRacing wants to score this race. Who knows? It's a mystery. Lance working for third, and he is just going to absolutely blow by the number 22 going into 3. Kiefer was not really able to get down in front of him. Lance was just there. Fisher trying to reproduce the same, but he has got a ways to go to get to that number 22. And Billy Wise right now is looking great for second position. This should be the white flag lap here. We already know the one car is going to win it, but can Lance get around Wise? He's to him. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Billy Wise will take second, and then the 76 of Jason Lance takes third. Stephen Kiefer and Fish round out the top 5. Excellent racing all around tonight. We're going to take a few moments to see if we can't get a word with your top 3. If we can, great. If not, oh well. We'll be right back.
Bring your driver to life with custom-designed racing hero cards. Perfect for fans, sponsors, autograph sessions, and race day promotions. High-quality design, personalized layouts, and attention to every detail that makes your brand stand out. Turn your racing story into something fans can take home.
So we are here with Billy Wise, the number 32. He got third place tonight in the Heineken machine. Tell me about that last restart. You started way up towards the front. You had a lot of very, very fast cars behind you.
Hey, we finished in second. Thank you very much.
Second, excuse me.
Um, we just everything went right for once this season. We had some pretty good speed, and for the longest time, I was just happy to ride behind Don because we were gapping Steven behind us, so I was just content riding. And then when he spun it, the caution came out. I kind of freaked out that so many people pitted for tires, and we were stuck up front, but we kind of held our own, and we let the guys that are a lap down, we just let them go. And then again, I started gapping. Was it Andrew and Steve? So didn't want to see those cautions come out, but it still worked out for us in the end.
Oh, awesome job on your second place finish.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you have anybody you want to thank?
I just got to give a shout out to Glenn Sidman to let us run under his league or his name, Simability. Run this race every week. Appreciate that. And you up here announcing and Johnny with the video.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much. We're gonna wiggle our way on over here to the 76, the Icy Man. Jason, that last restart, you and Fish and TJ are 3 wide going into turn 1. Was there a moment there where you thought you might not make it?
I wasn't told that. I had no idea.
Yeah, Fish went up around the outside, you went around the inside, and I kind of held my breath for a minute. I went, oh, that's not looking too pure, but you made it work. So, you ended up a lap down at one point, which I missed because the scoring had gotten a little funky. Um, how were you able to get back up on the lead lap? Was it perseverance? Was it luck in the pits? Or was it lucky dog?
A lot was there's wasn't that too many cars out here to pass, to be able to get to Lucky Dog. I think I was already in the Lucky Dog position to begin with when we got back going green after yellow flag incident.
Well, it was
You just had
definitely.
to
Oh, go ahead.
you just had to drive hard with that few many laps left.
Yeah, and it was definitely a great late race charge. You ran your fastest lap around lap 100, if I recall, and I had noted that it really seemed like you were getting faster towards the end of the race. Um, is that typical of your driving style?
Well, I was thinking of trying something different this time since Dalton's been pretty much kicker on behinds on all these races. So I figured I'd just start out just trying to save tires, but that strategy still didn't work. That's what I'm used to. I'm not used to, just firing off out of the cannon, just going trying my hardest, at the get-go. I'm used to saving for half of the race. I've done most of my racing in the NASCAR series, so where tire saving definitely comes into play a heck of a lot more. So I may have to break myself of that in these Legends cars.
Yeah, these things definitely don't have the tire fall off of the big cars. Well, congratulations on your third place finish. A great job rallying back. We're going to waddle our way over to the number one of Dalton Williamson, who came away with the win tonight. Now, Dalton, you didn't end up a lap down. In fact, I believe you led most of the race. So tell the viewers a little bit about how you want to get around this place because it's very tricky. And we were showing a couple suspension cams earlier, and it's a lot bumpier than it looks.
Pretty much don't use the whole backstretch and kind of do the opposite of what you normally do at oval and don't arc it in the corner. Just kind of turn left and drive down by the little bump. Like I don't know what you would call that, to be honest.
I
Little
was
white
calling it
piece.
a berm. So,
Berm. Yeah, there we
yeah,
go.
that thing. Let's see here. So, I'm pretty sure you led most of the race. You had some great restarts in there. Both restarts, you were further back in the field. Not both. The first one, you were further back in the field. What's it like passing at this track? Because it is pretty one groove.
Um, Kind of just got to be patient. Kind of like last week at the LA Coliseum. Same concept. Just be patient.
Alright, well, definitely a lot of patience there. I noticed you had a good handle on the car. I did see it sliding a little bit. Was it starting to go away toward the end of the race, or was it just, was the track heating up?
I think the car was just freeing up on the long run.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looked like it was on a rail out there. Well, fantastic run, Mr. Williamson. Congratulations on first place. And that's going to do it for us tonight. So for Johnny Berardi, this is Leilani Wilson. We'll see you next week.
Tonight's broadcast of the No Limits Just Legends Racing Series is brought to you by SimAbility, making sim racing accessible. By AdminBox, your one-stop shop for all your race control needs. And by Custom Racing Creations, making memories that last a lifetime.